from him with a drumstick. He said, hold on,
My mother was in America working for the Jackson 5 at the time.
Michael and Tito and
yes, sir, that 5.
I said, Dad, you know, some water, baby, now. I said, no, son, don't do it.
I'll be down by the river.
The honorable member of Morgan Heritage.
All right.
The Cut, brought to you by Flo and Rare Nephew.
Now I'm where I want to be.
Well, there are some people in the Jamaica Labour Party not happy with the party's declaration that Joel Williams will not be the man in place when the next general election is called in Central Clarendon. The party saying that Delroy Williams is the man who has been recommended for selection, to the extent that those who are opponents of that announcement have stirred up the hornet's nest. Well, in Jamaica we should say ant's nest. Stirred up the ant's nest by claiming that influential Labourites in Central Clarendon are not in the Delroy Williams camp. But what do the influential Labourites who they say are not in Delroy Williams' camp have had to say about their allegiance and their support of the party's decision to select Delroy Williams? Yes, the names are similar and it's a bit naughty, and that's why we've chosen to use Lead Story today to unravel it all for you. I left my watch, but it's time to start the show. Good evening and welcome to Lead Story here on CVM TV. So we're talking about the issue of Central Clarendon. A lot of tongues were wagging when the Jamaica Observer newspaper published that story earlier on this Thursday, claiming that Labourites were livid inside the constituency at the selection of Joel Williams by the recommendation by the JLP Secretariat that the party's selection committee and its central executive endorse its man, Delroy Williams, to be the standard bearer for the JLP in Central Clarendon at the next election. Why is that necessary? Because the veteran Lester Mike Henry at 89 is not going further with the politics, and so there's need for a new representative. We were told that it has caused a rift between JLP supporters in Central Clarendon with those who want Joel Williams, the current mayor of Maypen, to get that selection and not Delroy Williams, the former Kingston mayor. So, in context, what is happening and why are we having this discussion? We prepared this for you to shed light on the basis for today's program.
Controversy is seemingly brewing in the Jamaica Labour Party's camp in Central Clarendon after a letter surfaced, its content alleging that influential members of the Maypen business community are backing Mayor Joel Williams as the party's standard bearer for the constituency, instead of the JLP's official pick, Delroy Williams. Yes, the alleged conundrum: which of the Williams will the people have? The letter, which purportedly shows support for Joel Williams as the JLP's candidate for the upcoming general election, sparked conversations. Several names listed as signatories on the letter have publicly denied any involvement in the endorsement. Some have even expressed surprise at the contents of the letter, claiming they had no knowledge of its existence. Despite the confusion, 3 of the 4 sitting councillors in the constituency have come forward to express support for the decision made by the JLP's Secretariat, which nominated Delroy Williams, former mayor of Kingston, as the JLP's standard bearer for the upcoming general election. The situation comes at a pivotal moment, with incumbent Mike Henry announcing that he will not seek re-election in the upcoming general election due by September. In a statement, councillors from the constituency emphasized that they would remain loyal to the party's decision, urging unity and party discipline as the JLP moves forward with its preparations for the next election. So is there tension in Clarendon Central? And will there be broader implications for the JLP's prospects in the constituency? We discuss on Lead Story.
Yeah, and on that score, we take a break and come right back to get into the discussion.
Join my private room. Only $1,000 for a grand time.
That I know me. We never said that. But who go and believe me?
That is correct. $4,350,000. Yes, go ahead.
$4 million? I never approved that.
Yes, me go doctor tomorrow. So me have to get the money today, no longer. Then no me face that. Me never make no record or beg nobody no money.
Deepfakes are AI-generated images and videos made to look and sound like people we know and trust. They're used to spread misinformation, destroy reputations, and are used to commit fraud and scams. Don't fall victim to deepfakes. Protect yourself. For more information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or scan the QR code on screen.
In a world where innovation meets tradition, agriculture is evolving like never before. From the latest sustainable farming technologies to age-old practices passed down through generation, agriculture is
precious to me.
I love the animals. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I love working.
Join us right here on CVM TV every Sunday during news at 7 as we explore the people, the science, and the breakthroughs that are shaping the way we grow, eat, and live. You don't want to miss it. This is Farming Forward.
Back with us on Lead Story. So, of course, the letter circulating claiming that several influential members of the Labour Party, including 3 councillors, were not in support of the recommendation for Delroy Williams to go forward as the party's standard bearer in Central Clarendon. And that made people really take notice, because if these people were saying no to Delroy and yes to Joel, then obviously the Labour Party had a problem, and it was a potential butting of heads between what the party secretariat wanted and what the Labour Rights Underground in Central Clarendon also wanted. Both sides had cross purposes, and it had all the makings of a clash, an untidy clash for the Labour Party. But as time has passed on this Thursday, a real picture is starting to emerge, and one of the ladies that was purportedly a signatory to the letter saying no to Delroy but yes to Joel is Lorraine Mason. She's the councillor for the Maypen West Division, and we've asked her to stop by here briefly. She says she's a busy woman on this Thursday, so we asked her to stop by just to clarify her own position on the issue. Where does she stand in this the situation concerning which of the Williamses is going forward for the JLP in Central Clarendon? Lorraine Mason, councillor, good evening. Welcome to a Lead Story here on CVM TV.
Thank you for having me, and good evening to yourself and your listeners.
Thank you very much. Talk to me now, councillor, on this issue of the party's decision, the secretariat, to recommend Delroy Williams, the former senator, the former Kingston mayor. They've recommended him to the party's selection committee and the central executive for selection to be the party's standard bearer in Central Clarendon. Are you in support of that move?
Just for one correction, I am not the councillor, I am the councillor caretaker.
The caretaker, beg your pardon.
I ran in the local government election of 2024.
Yes.
The Jamaica Labour Party is a very democratic organization, and I must make it categorically clear that I was not aware of this letter that is being circulated until I was informed through the media. I was asked what is my take, and I'm very offended at the construction of such a letter with my name affixed to it, that has no truth bearing that I am in support of Councillor His Worship Joel Williams as the candidate to be representing the Jamaica Labour Party in the upcoming general elections. The candidate in the person of former Senator Delroy Williams, I have made it extremely clear on all fronts and have always been on the road with Mr. Delroy Williams supporting his bid to become the next Member of Parliament for Central Clarendon. So I am appalled. The amount of calls that I have gotten since this morning regarding my name affixed to that, I wonder what it was the modus operandi of the person who had constructed such a letter. It is the view of the 30,000 plus, based on my assessment on the ground, being on the ground with Mr. Delroy Williams, 7/8 of the constituents is in favor of Delroy Williams. And I am very pleased that the party, in hindsight, have listened to the people on the ground. There is a jubilation in Maypen, and we're not knocking our mayor. Can you imagine the asset it will be having Councillor His Worship Joel Williams as our mayor and having Delroy Williams as our Member of Parliament? We will be a force to be reckoned with. We are the hub almost in the center of the country, and Central Clarendon is very, very important to the Jamaica Labour Party. And the plans that is afoot by Delroy Williams and with Joel in position as mayor, it only augurs well for Jamaica.
So you say, Lorraine, that 7/8 of the people in Central Clarendon are pro Delroy Williams. So is it that I
am not exaggerating?
Is it that this letter, which has been carefully crafted, you would agree, is it that it's coming from the 1/8, or is it coming from forces that are not necessarily Labour Party supporters?
I don't want to make speculations. What I am saying, and I am saying this categorically, that the people in Central Clarendon is in support of Delroy Williams becoming the Member of Parliament for Central Clarendon. As we speak, George, there is a celebration that is going to be had in Maypen this evening. How jubilant the people are when the Secretariat had said that they were going to recommend Delroy Williams to become the candidate for Central Clarendon. There is a jubilation on the ground, and there is an anticipation for fresh new blood to come in and to just continue the work. Mind you, our former Member of Parliament, the Honorable Lester Mike Henry, much of what I know in politics, I have learned it from him. And I am not knocking, and I would never dare to try and knock Mr. Henry's legacy. But I am saying, and I have been quoted as saying, that we need fresh blood in Central Clarendon, and the party has made the right choice by the people.
Yeah. But Lorraine, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. You're a smart politician. You're a young woman. You know how these things work. You know you know that when threats emerge, a smart politician as you are needs to know the source of the threat so you can protect your flanks if that's where the area of exposure is, or if the threat is coming from behind or even head on. If it is that such a carefully crafted attempt has been made to make it appear as if there is significant disunity in Central Clarendon, and that the people have gotten or will get somebody that they don't want in the form of Delroy Williams, don't you think you need to know where such a threat is coming from, Lorraine?
I am not going to try to be naive, George. I have a fair idea, but then...
Then tell me, no man. Tell me and tell Jamaica, what's the fair idea you have?
I am not going to go there. These things, a lot of persons
Tell me this. You say you're not telling me, you're not telling me, but tell me this. Let me set it up for you again. It could be one of a few things, but do you suspect that it may be someone within the Labour Party ranks, or it may be somebody outside who's making it seem as if Labour rights are disunited in Central Clarendon? Where's your thinking at?
Honestly, I think it is someone from the 1/8, sadly so, would want to make it appear as though persons are disgruntled, and that is not the truth. It really isn't the truth. And it is sad that people would want to well, when I heard of it, the first thing I said is the intention of the person who crafted that letter wants to send a signal as though the hierarchy of the party is being a dictator in pushing on someone, on the people in Central Clarendon, and that is categorically not the case.
You know, looking at it from afar, Lorraine, someone who is away from the ground, you're on the ground, you operate there. Someone looking from afar would say, well, hold on, why is it that there's a mayor of Maypen, a Clarendon man, Joel was council for the Denby division not so long ago, a Clarendon local man. Why is it that somebody from town has been sent to Central Clarendon to replace Mike Henry in a strong JLP seat? Why not give Joel Williams that glory? The Labour rights down there are right to be up in arms, if indeed they're up in arms. What about that reasoning?
That reasoning has no basis. I have our former member of parliament, our sitting member of parliament, Lester Mike Henry, is not from Clarendon, and he has made his mark. Mr. Delroy Williams has ties in the parish of Clarendon. He's from the neighboring community of Savannah Cross, where his mother and his sisters went to Glenmuir High School. He has ties in Clarendon. And not because you're not from the parish does not mean that you can't represent. He's a Jamaican, unlike others who have questionable origin, who is representing. He is a Jamaican.
I hear you on that. So just to be clear again, you are not saying Delroy because Joel would be a bad candidate. You're just saying Delroy over Joel. Why again? Tell me again.
I am saying that it is my view, and I have said it all the time, I think Delroy Williams would be a better candidate, and at no time Delroy was forced upon the people of Central Clarendon. Just to set the record straight, I am one of those persons who have advocated that Delroy Williams be the candidate to represent us. And let me tell you from which point of view I drew my decision. I am a business operator, and I was shopping in Kingston one day, and I had to drive with suppliers from both uptown into downtown Kingston. And he was mayor at that time. And when I observed and watched the work that he was doing and how transforming he was as a mayor, transforming the face of Kingston, I was one of those persons who advocated that Delroy come and make an interest in the seat. I must add also, George, that if you notice, based on the letter where they said the secretariat, and there's a process that must be followed if you want to become a candidate for the Jamaica Labour Party. Joel Williams have not applied to the party. There is a process, and the business of the Jamaica Labour Party is bigger than any one individual. And so the process must take place. We are in an election year, and therefore the business of the Jamaica Labour Party must be done. Are we going to sit and stagger and because of emotions? I am not belittling his worship, and I am saying he has my support as the mayor for Maypen. I am a registered business owner in Maypen, and he has my full support as the mayor. And he has been into politics long, and he deserves to be in the position that he is. But I am saying it is my view that Delroy Williams is the person that is going to represent Central Clarendon in the general election.
Last question, Lorraine. As a businesswoman yourself, the letters that have been circulating, one of them purports to have signatures from influential business people in Central Clarendon saying that they want Joel. Based on your best information, is that letter authentic? Do those business people hold the view that the wrong Williams is being lined up for the seat, for the JLP?
If you look at the date of that letter, the letter is authentic, yes. And I have spoken with persons whose signature are affixed to that letter. But I must make you know on their behalf that at the time of the request for that signature, things have changed. And a day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Yes.
Things do change fast. And the sentiments that was given to me even this morning before I came on an interview for Nationwide is that it must be made clear that they are in support of anyone that the secretariat of the party has chosen to represent the Jamaica Labour Party.
And you make a good point.
Also, I want to make, just before, George, I beg you a minute.
Proceed.
The Jamaica Labour Party was founded on the principle of workers, ordinary workers. We are not the party that says Taponaris. So, the humble people of Central Clarendon, and no disrespect to the business owners, they alone, would be unfair for them alone to be making that decision. A lot of them, their votes are not even in Central Clarendon, whose signatures are fixed to that letter.
Yes. The timeline is also very important because the letters one was from January, one was from February, and the announcement by the party secretariat came on March 4 that they were putting forward Delroy Williams. So it would suggest that some conciliatory talks had been held and understandings agreed, and so the party was moving forward. I hear you on that. So, Lorraine, thank you for your time, and the word from you is that there is no disunity in Central Clarendon. You are fully behind Delroy Williams.
Unequivocally. As much percent as I can, I am supporting Delroy Williams, and I am supporting Joel Williams as our mayor.
Hear you on that. Thank you for your time this evening. All the best to you.
Thank you so much, George.
That's Lorraine Mason. She is from, she's the caretaker for the Maypen West Division for the JLP in Central Clarendon. Saying it, well, I hope it was clear to you, certainly clear to me, that there's no equivocation about which of the Williamses they're working with for Central Clarendon nomination as candidate when the time comes. More after these.
We see these things grow widely on trees.
That's actually where the chocolate is. As of 7 years old, I've said I'm going to become a pastry chef. I used to work with this really crazy, out-of-the-box thinking chocolatier. We started from our living room, and now we're here cranking out 1,000 bars a day.
I'm seeing banana, sweet potato.
Yeah, it's really important to us to translate Jamaican flavors to the world.
You don't have to be Rasta.
We have our first father and son duo.
I'm a fan. Likewise.
I actually got my first beating on tour from him with a drumstick. He said, "Hold on,
My mother was in America working for the Jackson 5 at the time.
Michael and Tito and
yes, sir, that 5.
I said, "Dad, you know some water, baby, now." I said, "No, son, don't do it."
I'll be down by the river.
The honorable member of Morgan Heritage.
All right.
The Cut, brought to you by Flo and Rare Nephew.
Now I'm where I want to be.
Central Clarendon is a seat, that was won for the first time. Well, it was first contested in a general election in Jamaica in 1976. The first member of parliament was the former PNP Vice President Odi Ramtali. Odi Ramtali would have left us in 2021 at age 95. He won in 1976. In 1980, he ran again in Central Clarendon, but he ran into a gentleman called Lester Mike Henry, JLP candidate then, who beat him. Odi Ramtali then went to Southwest Clarendon, where he won 2 elections, and Mike Henry from 1980 beating Odi Ramtali to get into Parliament as the MP for Central Clarendon has never let the seat go. It is as JLP as seats come across the country, and anybody who runs for the governing party is almost, well, anybody who runs for the JLP is almost certain of sitting in the House of Representatives. So it's a plum seat, because if you can be assured almost of winning a parliamentary seat, then who wouldn't want that? The party secretariat saying that their recommendation is for Delroy Williams to get that opportunity to run and to win the seat. Joel Williams did not apply, which is a very key thing. He did not apply, and he told media elsewhere on Saturday of last week that he was cool with the decision from the party if it is that they were moving forward with Delroy Williams. He said he had no problem with that. And you heard Lorraine Mason say that as far as the workers in the seat are concerned, the labor rights in Central Clarendon, Delroy Williams is the man. She says 1/8 of the Labour Party support is for Joel Williams and against Delroy, but she says, well, they're just going to have to work with the program. And she says she feels the letter, crafted as carefully as it was, came from that 1/8, not outside. So it's not, as I hear people say, the other side trying to sow discord within the Labour Party. She says no, she doesn't think so. She thinks it's one of them who would have broken ranks and tried to stir the pot. So Central Clarendon appears to be settled, and it seems as if it's only a mere formality from here for the selection committee of the Labour Party to say yes to Delroy Williams, and then for the Central Executive, the second highest decision-making body outside of the annual conference, to rubber stamp Delroy Williams and say go forward and seek to replace Mike Henry in Central Clarendon. And with that, just like that, it's all the time we have. So I want to say thanks to the production team and say thanks to you for watching. God's willing, we'll be back. We'll be back. It's tied up there. You know what it is? Be back. Yeah, we'll be back on Friday.
We have our first father and son duo. I'm a fan.
Likewise.
I actually got my first beating on tour from him with a drumstick. He said, "Hold on,
My mother was in America working for the Jackson 5 at the time.
Michael and Tito and
yes, sir, that 5.
I said, "That some water, baby, now." I said, "No, son, don't do it."
I'll be down by the river.
The honorable member of Morgan Heritage.
All right.
The Cut, brought to you by Flo and Rare Nephew.
Now I'm where I want to be.
In a world where innovation meets tradition, agriculture is evolving like never before. From the latest sustainable farming technologies to age-old practices passed down through generation, agriculture is
precious to me.
I love the animals. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I love working.
Join us right here on CVM TV every Sunday during news at 7 as we explore the people, the science.
Open a Sagicor Bank savings account from anywhere. Go online and open yours today.
The time by Sagicor Bank is
7 o'clock.
CVM News at 7 Headlines Thursday, brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, Fort Rocky development works raise environmental concerns. New teachers brace for introduction to education sector. In Query This, we investigate the laws surrounding security cameras and privacy. While in the business report, we've got phase 2 of the Adopt a Block project with Kingston Creative. And in sports, Cavalier face Inter Miami in the CONCACAF Champions Cup.
News at 7 Headlines Thursday, brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy.
Should critical illness strike? Don't let worry fill your head. Say hello to happiness and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan. Secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness ahead of time, while benefiting from our investment portfolio and so much more. Give yourself and your family the peace of mind you deserve with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan today. And live secure, live easy.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. It's Thursday, March 6, 2025. I'm Nika Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us. An additional $164 million has been allocated to the Integrity Commission in the 2025-2026 fiscal year. But Parliamentarian Everald Warmington is not happy. During a Standing Finance Committee meeting on Thursday, he stands resolute in demanding a compliance audit of the anti-corruption watchdog. Courteney Lewis reports.
It's another question of integrity as MP Everald Warmington maintains he can't support any budgetary reallocations for the Integrity Commission IC until an audit report is tabled in the House of Parliament.
I see that this year the amount to the Integrity Commission is increased by $164 million. But yet I have not seen any auditing of that department or a financial report from this department. This year they're getting almost $2 billion, and that's taxpayer money, and there must be accountability.
It isn't his first call, as in October 2024, the member demanded a full audit of the IC's finances. He claims a presentation of financial statements is simply inadequate.
They mentioned that in their report they have financial what have you. What they have, there was just financial statement, and that's not what is required. It's required that all agents, department, statutory what have you, have audited report leading this house. And I stated then that I cannot support any more funds being made available to this commission without some accountability. And I'm maintaining my position today.
But Finance Minister Favour Williams refutes that responsibility, referring the matter to the IC's Oversight Committee.
I do not have the information about where they are in terms of their financial audit. This is something I could inquire into. But again, my understanding is that those matters would go through the IC committee for them to interrogate and address.
She also remained mum on the details of the IC's latest audit report.
What we do know is that an audit was being pursued, and what we do know is that there have been allocations in budgets to provide for financial management and accounting services. As to exactly where that audit is, that is not information that I have at this moment.
Courteney Lewis for CVM News.
And as you would have heard earlier today, the Standing Finance Committee met to discuss key national projects, including the ongoing road rehabilitation efforts. Road users can expect a smoother commute as two major government initiatives, Spark and Reach, continue to make headway. Works Minister Robert Morgan provided an update and addressed public concerns. Courteney Lewis has more.
Jamaican motorists can look forward to fewer potholes and smoother rides as two major road rehabilitation projects, the Spark and Reach programs, continue to unfold. Works Minister Robert Morgan says additional phases of work are in train as the government pushes to complete rehabilitation across all 63 constituencies within the current fiscal year.
For most constituencies would have chosen 5 roads for the Reach program, so that's 5 times 63. That's 315 roads we have to procure. So some of the letters came in late January, early February. Some came in last year. But I can guarantee that before the end of the financial year, you will get approval, or your contractors will get approval to complete the second phase of Reach.
As for the GOJ's $45 billion Spark program, the minister notes that more directives will be issued this week to keep the initiative on track.
Issued 84 roads to be repaired in 2 work orders. The 3rd work order should come out next week, which will complete the 63 constituencies. So that would have been 126 roads would have been assigned to the contractor by next week.
But the minister cautions the process will take time due to the technical nature of the repairs and the extensive scope of work needed.
We actually plan to do 6 work orders in this quarter. You're going to be doing 200 and about 50 odd roads in the space of a 6 to 8 month period. That requires significant mobilization. It requires mobilization of resources, it requires mobilization of personnel. You have to align with the engineers, the engineering consultant have to be aligned as well.
Meanwhile, he countered public commentary about unpaid contractors, claiming approximately $9 million has already been dispersed, with payments made after thorough evaluation of work completed.
I've heard the comments in the public, and I know that there are contractors out there who are owed, but we maintain pretty much a 60 to 80-day payment cycle. Once your bill is validated that the work is complete to satisfaction, most contractors can expect their payments to be within the 60-day normally, and for some special projects, 80 days.
Courteney Lewis for CVM News.
Chief Executive Officer of the Jamaica Environment Trust, JET, Dr. Teresa Rodriguez Moody, says development at Fort Rocky along the Port Royal Main Road in Kingston has been rocked with environmental breaches, raising major concerns. Adrian Williams reports.
Development along coastal areas require careful consultation with the relevant authorities, having a strong focus on environmental impact and conservation. One such development raising concern is a suspected parking lot for events at Fort Rocky on the Port Royal Main Road in Kingston. The Jamaica Environment Trust's Chief Executive Officer, CEO Dr. Teresa Rodriguez Moody, believes critical policies are being ignored.
Fort Rocky falls within Zone B, which is a conservation zone. And in that zone, it specifically states what is allowed and what is not allowed.
The Act outlines that despite special activities being allowed, the degree of the landscape which can be affected should be minimal.
Well, the photographs that we have seen show that we have extensive land clearance of this particular area. At this point, I am not sure I'm not sure what can be done. This is one of the reasons why we usually say that you want to protect and preserve rather than try and rehabilitate after the fact.
This vegetation can take years to regrow and plays a crucial role in protecting this thin strip of land connecting the community of Port Royal and the Norman Manley International Airport to Kingston. The environmental expert says a paradigm shift is urgently needed to pilot how the country goes about development.
We need to take a completely different approach to how we do development. And secondly, their laws are in place for a reason. We have organizations in place to protect and manage these areas, such as, protected areas. And I think it's important that we don't try not to go around these issues. And also, very importantly, the NRCA Act binds the crown, which means that whether or not a government entity is the one carrying out these works, it does not mean that they do not have to comply with the law.
The Palisades Strip is home to several species of mangroves, along with other vegetation and marine wildlife. Adrian Williams for CVM News.
Still in the news, the Princess Margaret Hospital in St. Thomas is getting an even better chance at saving lives thanks to medical equipment that was nearly discarded. The donation includes oxygen concentrators and other vital devices, offering much-needed support for patient care. With the details, here's Shante McNeil.
It's often said that one man's trash is another man's treasure, but in this case, discarded equipment is literally breathing life into medical care in St. Thomas. Director of the St. Thomas Renaissance Foundation, Travis Smith, explained that Thursday's donation of fully functional medical oxygen concentrators to the Princess Margaret Hospital in the parish was made possible because the machines were set to be discarded.
Brother and his wife is a nurse practitioner, and a company had these machines and I told them out. Never been used. They ordered for COVID, and COVID went and gone, then they never get used them. So they just told them out, write them up for the tax credit, right? And I said, no, I'll take them down to Jamaica, find a home for them. And I came down and trying for about 6 months. And it just that I got frustrated and I told somebody in the club, listen, I'm tired of this, I'm just going to throw them off the camera. And she said, no man, I have this friend, this guy named Dr. Monroe. Let me give you a number. I said, all right, sure. But I didn't expect a call. He called me the same evening.
Though Princess Margaret Hospital is a Type C facility, meaning it lacks an intensive care unit, Hospital Consultant General Surgeon Dr. Sean Smith says the facility has long struggled with a high demand for oxygen therapy.
These machines will assist us greatly, certainly as a temporizing measure until a space becomes available for us to transfer them out. So rest assured they will be put to good use. The need is there, and our patients will benefit significantly.
Additional donations included PT-INR prothrombin time and international normalized ratio machines, which Dr. Smith says will also prove invaluable for major surgeries.
We are faced with patients who require surgery, and quite frequently we need to know what their bleeding indices are like, because it has significance for us when we operate. And what we were really faced to do before was to send the patients to a private lab to have it processed, and as you can imagine, the turnaround time is significant. If you're lucky, 6 to 8 hours. And sometimes you don't have 6 to 8 hours to operate on a patient. So I am particularly pleased. This one is near and dear to my heart, and I graciously thank you.
And the generosity doesn't stop there. Another donation is on the way. Smith says he will hand over additional medical equipment before the end of March, with hopes that each additional device will serve to improve and even save lives. Shante McNeil, CVM News.
With that, CVM News at 7 continues in a moment.
IBC Caribbean, get up to 100% financing with 10 years to repay, plus flexible monthly payments. Our Easy Cover loan gives up to 11 months to pay your auto insurance. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Sports should be fun. Sports should be interesting. Sports should be entertaining. Sports should be riveting. This is CVM Sports. I'm Jordan Flint.
Come in. Step into my corner office.
Literally a corner office.
Right, yes.
Growing up here in Jamaica now, we see these things grow widely on trees, you know.
That's actually where the chocolate is. As of 7 years old, I've said I'm going to become a pastry chef. I used to work with this really crazy, out-of-the-box thinking chocolatier. We started from our living room, and now we're here cranking out 1,000 bars a day.
I'm seeing banana, sweet potato.
Yeah, it's really important to us to translate Jamaican flavors to the world.
Welcome back to CVM News at 7. 3 of 4 councillors have made their position clear amidst what seemed to be controversy looming over the announcement of Delroy Williams as the standard bearer for Central Clarendon. Adrian Williams shares this clarity.
A little more than 24 hours ago, controversy loomed over the announcement of former Senator and Deputy Mayor of Kingston, Delroy Williams, being the MP hopeful for Central Clarendon to replace veteran parliamentarian Mike Henry. Hours later, 3 councillors made their position abundantly clear.
I, Tanya Lee Williams, make this categorically clear that I was never consulted and I am not a signature to any letter.
I unequivocally is in support of Mr. Delroy Williams to become our Member of Parliament.
I have listened to the development that's taking place this morning, and let me make it abundantly clear. I have no idea about the letter, right? And I'm in full support of the candidate that we have to be chosen, right?
Amongst the councillors responding, Mason believes majority of supporters are with the party's decision.
It is the view of the majority of the people that are listed on the voters list in Central Clarendon that they are in support of Mr. Delroy Williams.
Efforts to reach Mayor of Maypen, Joel Williams, were unsuccessful. Adrian Williams for CVM News.
Well, the push to ensure more girls can manage their menstrual health with dignity continues to gain momentum. It's a significant moment for students at a corporate area school and for the woman leading that initiative. Curlin Brown has more.
March 4's Girls' Day at the Camperdown High School themed Sparkle and Shine was a perfect backdrop for Jamaican-American nurse Sandra Lindsay to make another statement, having already created history as the first nurse in the USA to take the COVID-19 jab, which erupted into a wave.
I went to the United States with a dream and $50 in my pocket. No scholarships, but I was determined that I wanted to be a nurse. And so I worked full time. I went to school full time. And I just finished in 2021 my doctoral studies.
If I can, you can too, reminded the Clarendon-born pace setter who officially launched her foundation in her name and the campaign Dignity for All, Breaking the Cycle of Menstrual Inequity, with the support of many sponsors, local and overseas.
Eagle Pads on a Roll, which this company is out of Ohio, and they have signed on and made a commitment to sponsor Glenmuir and Camperdown with this innovative product, Pads on a Roll, for 1 year. All of these dispensers will be in every bathroom stall for the girls at Glenmuir and Camperdown. And the whole idea is when they need it, it's at the point of access. They roll it out, it's perforated, and so in their 17 stalls here, one of this dispenser will be in every stall. Likewise at Glenmuir, they have 14 stalls and they will be outfitted with these dispensers. And so no girl at these 2 schools, and we hope to embrace more schools, should ever have to miss school because they don't have period supplies.
The campaign will also extend the pilot of its Big Heart to the Victoria Jubilee's Women's Health Clinic and the Mustard Seed Dare to Care Home. Curlin Brown, CVM News.
Let's take a look now at regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. CARICOM leaders have decided to establish an Educational Transformation Commission. CARICOM Chair and Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley made the announcement at the culmination of the 48th regular meeting of the Conference of CARICOM Heads of Government in Barbados during the closing media conference.
We were able to also take a report from the concerned parents with respect to CXC, and we've asked for them to meet with CXC to remove any misunderstanding or to improve what are their concerns, to improve the response to their concerns. But in addition to that, the community took a decision that the time had come now for the establishment of a CARICOM Educational Transformation Commission. And over the course of the next few weeks, we will complete the terms of reference for that commission and the composition of that commission, because we all accept that our educational systems are not fit for purpose. They were designed for a colonial period with a hierarchical structure that only saw a few of our people and not all of our people.
A new documentary, St. Lucia, The Wild Side, reveals the island's diverse and often unseen wildlife, the culmination of nearly 20 years of research by filmmaker Kendall John. HTS News Force tells us more.
Confronting the broader ecological narrative, John argues for understanding and preserving St. Lucia's wildlife as a global responsibility.
When you know what you're losing, when you know what's in your backyard, then you can appreciate and love what you have. But if you don't know what you have, you won't love it. And so that's the reason we produced this film. We're hoping that people appreciate what we have. Animals and species that are found nowhere else in the world. And we have the responsibility to manage that patrimony. Not because we don't live in Africa. It means the Africans can do whatever they want with the lions. They can kill out all the lions. No, the whole world is depending on Africa to take care of the lions, because it's an international resource. And the same thing applies to St. Lucians. We have animals, the Amazon versicolor, the rhesus snake, the rarest snake in the world. We have these resources, and we have to take care of them.
And in international news, at least 15 people have been injured after 2 South Korean fighter jets accidentally dropped their bombs outside a training range during live-fire drills with U.S. forces. Details from Al Jazeera.
Surveillance camera footage obtained by a local broadcaster shows the moment the village was accidentally bombed. The South Korean Air Force says 2 of its fighter jets dropped 8 bombs outside the designated firing range, resulting in the damage and casualties. A number of bases and training areas are located in the mountainous Gyeonggi province near the demilitarized zone border with North Korea. They've provoked protests from local communities, unhappy about living in close proximity to live fire exercises.
첫째, 더 이상
I demand concrete measures be taken to prevent any recurrence of civilian casualties. Until adequate and acceptable safety measures are implemented, I call for an immediate suspension of all military training activities.
This drill is linked to the annual Freedom Shield exercises between US and South Korean forces due to start next week.
What we are doing right now is building our readiness, our capability, and our interoperability to ensure that we can defend the Republic of Korea against any threat.
The drills come at a time of heightened tensions with North Korea, which says they're a prelude to war.
And that's it for regional and international news.
Now for the latest happenings on social media.
So, what's grabbing your attention online today? Dancehall artist Squash, aka Andre Whitaker, has been taken into custody by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE after being arrested in Florida on gun-related charges. He is currently being held at the Chrome North Service Processing Center in Miami. Here are some of your reactions. At Job 90,000 writes, sometimes we are the weapons that form against ourselves. At Simone Anderson Simpson comments, they don't talk about system a fight ghetto youths, when in truth is that ghetto youth a fight against themselves. Shake my head. Make this make sense. At Anthony_Sway 29 posts, I's better keep him in cause Jamaica not ready for no big breeze. At Megan Williams says, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. At Ms. Harris shares, Jamaica here he comes, shake my head. At Larry_Brown adds, I knew this was gonna happen. The multiple gun charges, America not playing with those right now. At International_OGHB says, stay up, Don. Hope you can get a good lawyer who can get you out. I will never hate on a next man's mishaps in life. And that's what's trending in our online community today. Continue to share your thoughts with us on X at CVM TV and CVM Television on Facebook. I'm Courteney Lewis.
Thanks, Courteney. But security cameras are meant to protect. But what happens when your neighbor's camera captures parts of your home? Is it a privacy violation or just an unavoidable reality of modern security? Shante McNeil explores the legal and ethical implications in this edition of Query This.
Query this. Your neighbor installs a security camera, but it's capturing parts of your home. It's giving your neighbor some sense of comfort, but has you feeling like you're on reality TV. Is this an invasion of privacy? Do you have legal grounds to challenge it?
It is a good thing and it is a bad thing. Suppose some of them are your yard now. And if you got a neighbor have a camera there, you can't see it. But in a bad way, you cannot do something where you don't want nobody see. And your neighbor will catch it and you can show your fiancé, can bring someone to harm you or something towards that.
Better for me, because suppose me not there, nobody not there at my house at daytime. If anybody come there, them can see what's going on there.
That's very disturbing. And my privacy, or that guy got the court and so on. She can't do that stuff. No, that's a no.
If it is just some weird neighbor then and I don't trust them, I don't know them, then I'd have some reservations. If it's pointing at certain areas like my room window, that kind of thing, then I have an issue. So it just come back down to what the intention is and the kind of neighbor that I actually have.
Well, it comes down to one factor: intent. In law, this generally refers to the mental objective behind an action. Attorney at law O'Neill Corinaldi to break down what the law says about data privacy and surveillance.
Under the Constitution, we all have a fundamental right to privacy. That's the respect and protection of our privacy. And what happens is that, or what has happened rather, is stemming from that right. We have enacted the Data Protection Act that is now in effect, that protects our rights and governs how organizations use, collect, and otherwise process our personal data. Now, under that legislation, there is an exception when it comes on to domestic purposes. So if you install your security camera, being an individual, and that security camera captures the premises, then it does fall under that domestic purposes exemption under the Act.
Well, since security cameras fall into a gray area, what can someone do if they believe a camera was installed with the intent to spy or intercept private information?
Why is the camera placed how it's placed? And how do you intend to use that personal data or that information? Now, if you intend to stalk or harass the individual, then you now fall under the scope of our Cybercrimes Act, because we're now talking about a malicious intent in how you intend to use the information.
Under the Cybercrimes Act, individuals who are found guilty of unauthorized interception or spying can face a $3 million fine or up to 3 years in prison or both. However, Corinaldi clarifies that simply having a camera that incidentally captures a neighbor's property does not automatically warrant legal action.
When we speak about data protection laws that govern our landscape, when it comes down to domestic purposes and how information is used privately, the Act has an exemption, so it's not governed by the typical data protection standards, which speaks to the protection and the security of the data. We're yet to have further guidance from our information commissioner as to what is to come in terms of the development of our privacy landscape. But recourse, just to go back to what I said, lands primarily in the criminal realm.
In other words, Jamaica lacks comprehensive laws specifically regulating private security cameras. However, affected individuals may explore legal action under nuisance, harassment, or privacy laws. If you're facing a legal dilemma or bureaucratic hurdles or feeling you're being taken advantage of, email me at cmcneil@cvmtv.com and tell me your query this. Until next time, I'm Shante McNeil.
We take a break. There's more to come. Stay with us.
Crunch you want with KFC's popcorn chicken. Now available in hot and spicy. KFC, it's finger licking good. The time by KFC is
Real Fabrics, I go give you plenty healthy ways to switch up your meals. Fresh flavor that we need. A new recipe every day of the week. And look how good me feel. Come catch the vibe. Real Fabrics, catch the seafood vibe.
Welcome back. It's now time for the Business Report with Joel Crosskill.
Lots to share with you in the Business Report today. Delivering on the premise of a deep dive into Phase 2.0 of the Kingston Creative Movement's Adopt a Block project, a downtown transformation program designed to expand the landscapes of narration associated with the historic district's decay and their apparent redemption arcs.
So many people may ask, why do we need an Adopt a Block? Why do we need an Adopt a Block campaign? This is what the rest of Water Lane and the environs looks like. There are many more walls to improve. There are many more lanes and alleyways that have the potential to be a part of the art district, but are derelict, that are dark, that don't have lighting, don't have seating, don't have shading, and don't have murals. So when people donate to Adopt a Block, when you come on board, you're helping to activate more of this city and have it looking just as awesome as Water Lane. Everyone likes to see this positive change happening, and I'm just so pleased that we're able to make change from the ground up. And you know, you don't always have to be a top-down approach. We can take a ground-up approach and meet in the middle.
It seems to be exciting adaptation of transaction between towns' cultural and commercial paradigms.
When we map it out, you have to have private sector, you have to have public sector, and you have to have third sector, the foundations that do the work on the ground to help to socially improve our country. The feedback has been immensely positive. First of all, the community is employed in this project. So there are people who are helping us to paint murals, there's people who help us with the installations, the person who welded the arches that you will see, because there's some amazing wrought iron arches that say Water Lane now, something new to check out when you come downtown. He's a welder from Raytown, and so we make sure that we have community participation in the economic aspect of this as well, so the community is directly benefiting.
Dempster Chung shares how things have advanced in P2 so far.
I think a city needs to be designed for the people, you know, and I'd even go further to say it needs to be designed for the least fortunate of our people. You know, we need to make sure that the old, the young, women, girls can all traverse our cities with ease and in safety. When you have that, then you have a well-designed